Welcome to Recently Logged, where this week we're recording from the beach that makes you old.
Close your eyes and look around you.
What?
Feel the ocean breeze, the waves crashing, and notice that you're slowly getting old.
You don't even have to be on the old beach to do that.
We're back.
Here we are, five-week hiatus, which adds up to a couple of lifetimes here on the old beach.
Right. I mean, here on this old beach, things are moving pretty quick. If you don't if you don't stop and take a look around.
Wow.
Matthew Broderick on the old beach.
I don't know what I'd do.
But yeah, we had pretty good reasons for not doing the podcast. Lots of stuff happened this month.
To be honest, we have a good reason to not record today, but we're doing it anyway.
Yeah. We didn't want it to be 6 weeks. That was a lot.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
We wanted to
that's
record
crazy.
again. Heck, we wanted to record an old episode, like back when we watched Old initially.
I don't even remember when that was.
That was the beginning of the month.
It's like 3 months ago.
So yeah, we're back and we're doing an episode on M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
We're old news now, Micah.
Old news. Yeah, we're gonna have like no listeners. 0 listeners.
You know, our listenership hasn't been as awful as I thought it would be.
We had.
I checked our analytics while we were gone.
But we had some listener, but now we're gonna have no listeners.
Nothing.
It's like my channel. I was getting consistent subscribers, then you put out a video and it stops. Give it a couple months, you start getting consistent subscribers. Put it out another video and it stops.
Wow. Well, I don't know. I don't like the analytics don't keep track of people like following the podcast.
Well,
just listen.
I was just giving my YouTube channel as an example.
All right. Well, here we are. We're talking about the movie that is old, the old movie titled Old from 2021.
Do we want to get into everything and go into the basic facts?
You know what? Let's do it, baby.
Yeah. Alright, so Old is a 2021 movie, rated PG-13. It's an hour and 48 minutes.
Spicy, Mike.
Its IMDb description is, a vacationing family discovers that the secluded beach where they're relaxing for a few hours is somehow causing them to age rapidly, reducing their entire lives into a single day.
Sorry, I didn't mean to, like, crack my knuckles.
I thought it was just like 50 years in a day or something.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not their entire
I mean,
life.
that's essentially a lifetime. Like, by the time you've matured enough to start living your life, like 50 years is essentially what you have left.
Hey, we got the cast. We got Gael, García, Bernal.
Yes.
Vicky, Krieps. I'm gonna say. Rufus, Sewell. Alex,
cool
Wolff. Thomasin, McKenzie.
Heck yeah.
Abbey Lee. I love how Abbey Lee is like the easiest name in here to pronounce, and it's so basic.
Yeah, in the description of this episode, I put like all of the main cast. So if you want to check that out, you can.
I love how I can't read people's names.
Thomasin McKenzie. It's the second movie we've done of hers on the podcast.
Yeah, directed by M. Night Shyamalan, written by M. Night Shyamalan, based on a graphic novel
by M. Night Shyamalan.
By
Frederick Peters,
yeah, and it was written for the screen by Pierre Oscar Levy.
Micah, Frederick Peters isn't even that hard of a name.
No, I was trying to find the name.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Besides, I, you know.
I don't know, Micah. I must be enlightened to know. Are you looking up some cool trivia, Micah?
Yeah. There you go.
Oh my gosh, these are all like paragraph trivia.
The comic book, which I guess not the comic book.
It's a graphic novel.
The graphic novel titled Sandcastle.
Yes.
M. Night Shyamalan really liked because it gave him an opportunity to work through a lot of anxieties around death and aging. Things like my parents getting older.
You should have just watched Wildlife.
I think that's slightly different. Hey, this is the first M. Night Shyamalan film to be shot on 35mm since The Last Airbender.
Oh my.
All his projects since have been shot digitally until this.
Yeah. But hey, at least I like the cinematographer he always works with.
Looks very good.
Anything else that was super cool, Micah?
I'm looking. You could be talking.
What am I talking about?
I don't know.
What the heck am I talking about? You know, in the context of M. Night Shyamalan's career, this is a bit of a comeback, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hopefully the next movie he does, if he does another movie, will be very, very good.
One of M. Night Shyamalan's daughters worked as a second unit director on the film.
Wow. That's actually pretty cool. The most important thing when you get onto the set, Micah, is finding a good assistant director.
And another one of M. Night Shyamalan's daughters wrote and performed the song that Maddox sings in the beginning of the movie.
Nice. Well, there you go. What more could you ask for?
And here it says body count 12, including dog.
No.
Look, Ruby, you didn't have to go looking for it, because in the trivia it says the movie that Charles can't think of that stars both Marlon Brando and Jack Nicholson is The Missouri Breaks.
Has no plot relation to Old. Wow.
It's funny.
You know, oddly enough, I had heard about it before Old, and I was like, I can't remember the name of that movie. The entire time we were watching the movie, I was like, dang it, I can't remember the name of that movie for anything.
Marlon Brando and Jack Nicholson.
Exactly. But anyway, that's Old. If you didn't know what it was, now you know. It's about a beach that makes you old. So, yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get into what we thought of it. So, M. Night Shyamalan's Old.
I'm so old. That's elder.
I still can't believe this movie is just called Old. It's kind of weird, right?
It is. I mean, I think it works as a title.
It does.
You're
It does.
Yeah, old.
I'm not going to deny that, but it's kind of weird, right?
All right. But anyway, let's get into our basic thoughts.
Yes.
Our opening thoughts, as you would say.
Yes, it is our opening thoughts.
Would you like to do them, Remy? What are your basic thoughts?
Sure, I'll do them. I was just a bit busy yawning, Mike. Old. I like it. I do like it. When I first walked out of the theater for it, I wasn't really sure if I liked it or not. Because I enjoyed it, but at the same time, there were a lot of really goofy elements that didn't really
it's so goofy
mesh with me. I was like, I don't really know if I hate this or kind of love it. But we watched it a second time, also in a theater, and a lot more of the emotional beats hit me that time.
Yeah, I think it would be very weird not watching this movie in theaters.
Yeah, I'm really curious to kind of try this one at home. That would be weird. But I got over a lot of the initial what the heck, why it's kind of goofy, right?
And all of the line goofiness.
Oh my gosh, everything. Yeah, I kind of got over that on the second viewing, and I actually enjoyed the movie from a cinematic perspective. I was like, this is actually very interesting filmmaking, and a lot of themes are really getting dissected here, which I didn't catch as much on the first time around. So,
oh my god, it's mid-sized sedan.
It's mid-sized sedan. Well, yeah. I really enjoyed the way it was shot. I know a lot of people don't really like the framing and stuff that they use in this, but I really enjoy it.
I loved it.
It's still crazy to me how they got some of these shots. How did you get a long lensed camera to move like that on the water? It was, yeah.
I think it's a beautiful movie.
It's crazy. No, I think it's a beautiful looking movie too.
It's probably, in my opinion, the best looking Shyamalan movie ever.
Ooh, but Glass is right there. Glass looks really good.
Glass doesn't look very good. I think Glass looks not good.
Wow. Well, the beach is just an inherently photogenic place. So
Yeah.
you can't really beat that.
All right, is that what you got?
As for problems, I think it kind of messes up its ending a little bit.
Yeah.
Given what I gathered you were supposed to take away from the movie. But we'll probably discuss that more later.
Should have got Yossi on the podcast for this one.
Got Yossi on the podcast. Hey, Yossi's a great guy.
Yeah, and he's a big fan of this movie.
Hey, I'm a big fan of this movie. Okay, currently this is residing at the top of my 2021 list.
Oh no, I'm a big fan.
I
of
think
this
it's
movie.
great. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay, but
And what did you think
What
of
did I
Old,
think?
Micah?
I thought Old was a heck of a lot of fun. Watching it the first time, like, sure, I was dying laughing the first time, but like I enjoyed the whole experience in theaters the first time, and then the second time, I kind of agree. Like the emotional beats hit a little bit more. I was taking it a bit more seriously and not just laughing at its absurdity.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like you could do this movie either way. Like if you were to get all your friends together and watch Old on like Halloween or something, it would be so much fun because you can just laugh at it.
I mean, there are so many random weird line deliveries, so many weird creative decisions and character choices and direction.
There definitely were creative decisions.
It's a weird movie. Very weird, but it also is really well made in my opinion when it comes to cinematography and editing and direction. I like most of the cast quite a bit.
Yeah.
The story is cool. I don't think it does as much with the story as I would like, and I tend to agree that the ending is probably my least favorite part.
Yeah.
But it really made for a unique theater experience. It was a theater experience that I very much enjoyed both times.
And we saw it with our sister the first time.
And I saw
Which
it
was a lot of
with
fun.
my girlfriend the second time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, she was sitting like a seat away from me, Micah. Well, actually, like 2 seats away from me. I forgot she was there.
Wow.
But anyway, yes, Old, good movie.
Yeah.
I dare say.
And I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Wow, you matched my rating, Micah.
Hey, I did that rating initially, and then you changed yours the second time.
Yeah, I know. But still.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun. Most of the stuff to break down about it, we're going to do. Like, it's better to break down in the main section of the podcast.
One last thing that I forgot to mention, some of the, since the characters are aging throughout the movie, they change actors, like, every 40 minutes or so.
Well, the kids do.
Yeah, the kids do. And some of them are better than others at the whole acting thing.
That is true.
So that really kind of took me out of it the first time.
I mean, Alex Wolff, what a terrible actor.
Hey, Alex Wolff was pretty good. Pretty great, actually.
I always like Alex Wolff.
He was a lot of fun. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. That's another, like, kind of big problem I have, is it just kind of takes you out of it.
Though, like, teen-aged all of them. Thomasin, McKenzie, Alex Wolff, and Eliza Scanlen. I like all of those actors quite a bit.
Yeah, but I just wanted to mention that. I said, like, the ending was the only negative thing I mentioned. That was another thing that kind of bothered me throughout the movie, but... Anyway, let's move on to the meat, Micah.
The meat.
The meat of the podcast.
Meats. So how much are we canonically aging by each segment of the podcast?
I don't know. They said...
well, yeah, I know. But, like, podcast segments. We're going off podcast segments.
I don't know.
I say we age, like, 20 years every podcast
What? We're going to be dead.
Well, yeah, the old beach works differently in podcast form.
Why is your chair so squeaky all of a sudden?
That was one squeak.
No, there was multiple squeaks, Mike.
I doubt they could hear anything.
Well, I could hear it, Micah.
Wow.
It's bothering me.
All right, let's talk about old.
Let's really talk about old, Micah. What are we really talking about here?
I feel like this is actually going to be a decent movie on the podcast. I'm going to say this, and it's going to be terrible.
Micah, this is going to be the most stilted discussion we've ever had about a movie.
But there's like a lot to actually talk about in this movie. So,
well, did you have anything in mind to start us out with, Mr. Thematic Richness?
Wow. No, I didn't. But I could think of something. Did you have anything? An opening question, perhaps?
No, I didn't.
Wow. Okay. it's been a while, folks.
Yes, it has.
What would be a good...
Wait, I thought you said you could think of something.
Oh, yeah, I have to think of something.
Oh, my God. Well, Micah, what did you think...
What did I think?
...of the handling of themes of getting older? Because I will say, at the beginning of this, like, when I first heard about old, I figured it would kind of be more of an existential horror than an immediate we're going to die horror movie.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird how it doesn't really commit to wanting the actual... Like, I feel like it never is cinematically comfortable with the fact that getting old is frightening.
Yeah, like, I thought, like, because, like, the moment you realize that you have just, like, gotten older, that's a frightening feeling.
Like,
most of the time.
At the end of the movie, said children, the people who, spoilers, survive. I mean, we always spoil stuff on these. Like, they're 50 and 60 almost, and they don't seem too torn up about it.
They don't seem too upset about it.
Like, it's really weird how there's no existential crisis with them. Like, they just kind of accept it at a certain point.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, initially they're like, oh, this is weird, I'm scared, and then, like, but it's never like, oh, I'm losing my literal life.
Yeah, there's no...
I'm terrified.
Like, they're like, oh, the one girl, and this line actually always bothers me, because the one girl's like, we never got a prom or any of these memories. I'm like, why would a 6 or 7-year-old girl care about prom? Maybe I'm going crazy.
Think about who her mom is, Micah.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that line didn't really bother me as much as it just kind of like reminded me that we could have gotten something more existential, which wouldn't necessarily be better. I just wished it was that way.
I guess I'll rephrase what I said, though. I don't think that the filmmaking's not comfortable with the idea. I think the writing wasn't comfortable with the idea. Because the filmmaking and the way it's filmed, I feel like is a great kind of way to film something that would be more existentially. Kind of like... I don't know, the filmmaking kind of reminded me of somewhat of like something like Terrence Malick kind of movements and everything, if that makes sense.
A little bit. I wouldn't go Terrence Malick, but
not like fully, obviously, but I'm just saying like it was much more that style for Shyamalan than I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is the least classical way of shooting I've seen him go on a movie, so...
But the writing never, ever feels comfortable really talking about growing old.
Yeah, it's weird. Something I wanted to bring up, because it bothered me the first time, and I was like, yeah... I mean, I went into the movie with that expectation, so that's really more on me than it is on the movie. I still just think it would have been neat to explore that side of it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew what I was getting into going into the movie. It's a Shyamalan movie. I expected it, and I think that was it. I think our expectations for the movie were very different. I expected it to be goofy. It was honestly better than I expected it to be.
See, I thought, it was better than I expected it to be too, because we had just come off of Glass as the last Shyamalan movie, and that
Glass
thing
is not very good.
Sucked, in my opinion. That was just a not very good movie. And this was pretty good.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan is a very weird director. He sticks very true to very specific ideals when it comes to making movies.
He's a rather odd director.
I will say that I like a little bit in this movie when it comes to Shyamalan that even though it has kind of a reveal, it never feels like your typical Shyamalan. The entire thing is just built around a twist.
Oh gosh, like Glass.
Like Glass.
Oh my goodness.
Or almost any Shyamalan movie. Like, yeah, there is a reveal at the end, but it doesn't feel like a twist, really.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like answering the questions.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. It is a lot better handled in this than most of his recent work. Like, I mean, I think it's handled well in, like, The Sixth Sense, but, like, that was the dawn of M. Night Shyamalan doing twists.
That was the big M. Night Shyamalan twist movie.
Yeah. Which I still love The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, The Sixth Sense is very good.
Yeah.
What do you think... I was gonna ask what's your favorite scene or sequence.
Okay.
But that's a really hard thing for this movie.
Because it kind of is all one big chunk.
It's very
once
flowy.
they get on the beach.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the filmmaking and scene to scene is very flowy. But but what is your favorite scene or sequence?
Voice crack. Mike, I'm aging in reverse. I'm not getting older.
Oh no. The old beach and podcast form really does work differently.
What to say about that?
Yeah,
I'm a little conflicted because there are like a bunch of scenes that I like, but they always have something that I kind of don't like about them.
Yeah, it's interesting for me anyway. A lot of the scenes of quote unquote horror, I'm not a big fan of. Like if I was, I like their inclusion sometimes in the movie, but a lot of times it's weirdly done just for shock factor, in my opinion. Like especially anything with I don't remember the character's name, the doctor.
Oof. Just forgot the character's name. I mean, I don't remember his name.
Charles.
I couldn't tell you anyone's name.
Yeah, Charles.
From this movie.
Because what's her face is like, Charles.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Charles. Like almost any instance of any kind of violence with that character always felt very just for shock factor.
I mean, yeah, I would agree to that to an extent. I wouldn't say always, but yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, like I would say some of my favorite scene or sequences are probably when it leans into some of its more goofy elements. Like I actually really like the stuff with Alex Wolff, Thomasin, McKenzie, and like the three of those characters when they hit that age.
Yeah. I
really like that stuff was interesting to me. Which again, it's very goofy stuff.
Yeah. I'm just honestly trying to think of the sequence that really stands out in my mind because I like the movie.
Yeah.
But like whenever I think of like a certain section of it, I'm like, well, I mean, like the whole movie is good.
I think one of my favorite moments in the movie, besides that stuff, there is that one scene when they first get on the old beach and the camera first starts really zipping around.
Yeah.
And like they're playing freeze tag and you got all these moving elements. And that's where I think this movie really shines, is on its old beach spinny camera stuff. Like when like there's so much going on in the beginning of the movie. Once like things start happening on the old beach, it's like, oh, they found a dead body. Ooh, the dog's dying. Ooh, the old lady's dying. Ooh, the body's gone. Like so much confusion and stuff is happening, and I think it does such a like really unique and fun job of just bouncing around from all of these elements happening in a really nice looking way.
Yeah, I guess if you can count the initial old beach, like when they first get on it, like if you can count that as a sequence, that would be my favorite. Either that or the when it hits nighttime.
Yeah,
I really like that stretch of the
stuff
movie.
Is really fun. Again, it gets into its goofier horror elements,
exactly.
But it still is really fun.
Yeah, so I'd probably pick one of those two like segments.
That's what's interesting. You know the cave scene, the infamous cave scene.
Is it infamous?
It's infamous in my mind.
Wow.
So like the whole bone thing is the goofiest thing in the entire world.
Kind of is though.
But I really like the filmmaking in that scene. Not even the CGI, but like I don't know, something about like the score and the way it was shot initially. Not once they actually like start getting backed into the cave and everything, but like when they first get in there, I was like, yeah.
No, I was
cool.
about to say they really give you a good sense of space, and they make everything just visible enough. It's a good scene.
It's just so goofy.
It is kind of goofy though.
My calcium. No.
Her one defining trait is calcium.
It's true.
Wow.
I have a question, but I've kind of been saving it because I feel like it's getting into like a lot more of the meat of the discussion.
We'll go for it. I don't really have
what do you
one.
think of the handling of the various different characters in the movie? Like various elements, like the supposed schizophrenia, the like mid-sized sedan first introduction black character being a rapper.
I thought that was a little goofy.
I was really worried that he was going to be the only black character. He was going to be accused of murder, be a rapper, and die first.
Yeah, exactly.
Luckily, that didn't happen, but still.
Yeah, I would describe the characters being very classical, which I think me and Micah both made this comparison after seeing this for the first time. It feels very like 1960s of Shyamalan to write his cast like this.
Yeah, everything, and if you don't really get what we're meaning by that, a lot of very old kind of movie tropes are written into these characters.
Yeah.
For instance, said character with schizophrenia does not behave like
a person with
schizophrenia would at all.
Yeah.
It's very much feels like a very old movie portrayal of schizophrenia and any kind of mental illness.
I was about to say, if you've ever seen like older movies try and handle the topic of mental illness at all, it always comes off very insensitive, I would say is a good word for it. And that kind of carries over to this as well, unfortunately.
M. Night Shyamalan has always had that in his movies, which really is probably my least favorite thing Shyamalan ever does, even though
that's my least favorite Shyamalan like through line for a lot of his movies, is that mental illness is always like the scourge of the main characters.
And he uses it so much. He really does. It's like
The Sixth Sense has it.
The Sixth Sense, The Village, even the
entire trilogy of
entire trilogy
the superhero
of
one.
Unbreakable Glass, all that. Like it's like a thing he keeps going back to as like almost a gimmick, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, I really wish he would just either get some good representation or just please stop writing these characters into his movies. Wow.
But yeah, no, like as time went on, because I knew initially they were going to do something with him like mental illness wise, and I was a bit worried.
No, the filmmaking really does allude to it. I'm like, oh no.
And then like just the more it goes on, the more it's just like, why is he acting like this?
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like,
why is he just stabbing people?
Yeah, it's weird. That's honestly one of my least favorite elements about this movie, is it just kind of botches that character.
Yeah, and like in theory it could be a cool character if they did it right. It's kind of weird anyway that he's the only character with like a mental illness that they bring to the old beach. Like
I know, right?
They're curing a lot of physical diseases, and then they also bring somebody with mental illness, and like I get it, trying to cure schizophrenia would be a great thing. But it's just really weird that he's the only one with any mental illness. All the rest of them just have physical stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. What was the question? How does it handle its characters?
How does it handle its characters?
I was really scared about Mid-Sized Sedan as well.
Sedan.
Which might be the greatest rapper name of all time, unconfirmed.
That's true.
But, he was actually fine.
I liked the character. I really did.
Take it from us white guys. We know how to write a black character on screen.
No, I just No, I really liked the actor. I enjoyed the character.
Yeah, I loved his
I
performance.
was kind of sad that he died as quickly as
I know,
he did.
right? Like, literally my first review for this movie is they killed mid-sized sedan and then a little sad face. I was really
Like,
hoping
no,
that
he's-
he'd, like, survive or something.
Honestly, I thought he had one of the most fun performances in the movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching his character.
Yeah, no, I was, like you said, I was scared there at the beginning. I was like, oh no.
Because
They're
again,
going to accuse him of murder.
Shyamalan is just that kind of writer. That
Where,
he just,
where I would even consider that a
yeah,
possibility.
He leans into problematic things of old cinema.
I mean, I guess he just really likes old movies.
Yeah.
I like to believe like the best of Shyamalan. He seems like a cool guy,
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
but
A goofy guy.
I was about to say I think some of the writing tropes that he brings over into the screenplay of old are a little insensitive at times.
Yeah. And what about its kid characters growing old fast? What do you think of? Because that too kind of lands into the question.
You know, I thought that they would be a little more scarred from aging that quickly.
Right? Like I feel like it doesn't. I feel like it hardly talks about that. Like they have like a couple comments here and there about like maturing,
It's
getting
like,
older.
oh, I feel different.
They're
and
like,
that's
oh, I
it.
feel different. My thoughts are different. We
That's
had
about
sex
the
on the old beach.
Sex on the old beach. Yeah, and that's like the extent of it. Like, I just wish it delved into that a little bit more.
Yeah, like there's this instance with Alex Wolff's character, and I just lost her name. The other, Eliza Scanlen's character.
Yes.
Where they're laying together, and like,
Bro, that's a great scene.
They just had sex on the old beach, but like they have this conversation where they're like, I'm not scared anymore, like we're together, and I think that's a really cool idea.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Like, and that's why I cited that as one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a really cool idea that because they're so young, and you know they fall in love essentially, when they hit puberty, which is just a really weird concept.
Yeah.
That like they've kind of and they've kind of come to terms with it just because they're so young. They don't fully understand it. They don't fully get what they're losing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool concept, but again, it's hardly touched. And I feel like the 12-year-old daughter should have had a lot more like freaking out existentially. I know I would.
I know, right? Like normal teenager stuff, you know?
I feel like I would be like I would lose it. I would lose my mind, man. Tell me I'm aging that fast. I start aging that fast. I would be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm losing literal decades of my life."
Exactly. That like I said earlier, I wish it leaned more into like, oh my goodness, my life. Oh no.
Like, yeah, I feel like it hardly covers like life. Like as much as it's a movie about growing old on a beach, there's nothing about
As much as it's a movie.
there's nothing about life, right? Like,
No, really, and see that was one of my problems I had with it initially, but really the movie doesn't care about that.
Yeah, it
and
doesn't
it shows
really.
that it doesn't really care about that as much. What it really cares about is reconciliation with family members. That's what the whole movie is about.
yeah, and Yossi, I was talking with him about it after we watched it for the second time, and he was like, for me there was very strong themes of like life when it comes to specifically nature, and how nature is such a powerful force, and how that was a lot of the themes. And I didn't personally get that much like obviously they're there themes wise,
Yeah,
but
obviously.
I personally didn't get much from that.
But that's what I'm saying. Me personally, I think it's more about family like reconciliation and emotional healing and stuff like that than it is about getting old.
Yeah, one of the top reviews for this was wait, I forget how it's worded exactly.
Which one?
Crap, and I just blanked on what I was gonna say.
No, Micah. No.
It was I think it was like the kids are like, oh, it was like the kids in this movie are like, I'm okay with supernatural things, but I draw the line at my parents getting a divorce.
Yeah, see, exactly. That's where the movie's priorities are.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because I think Shyamalan went to it from growing old from a completely different concept from what most people would. Most people would go from the existential fear and dread of growing old.
Because, like, growing old means you're actively aware that you're dying.
But instead, Shyamalan kind of plays with the fact that, like that one Ghibli movie did before it, that as you get older, things seem very petty. Like, things just kind of slip away of importance. There's a scene where the two parents are like very, very, very old. They're about to die.
They're very, very old.
And he's like, I'm assuming he's supposed to have dementia at that point, being that he can't remember things.
Or he's just really old. But he's like, why did we want to leave this beach? It's so beautiful. And it's like a really, actually, like, why were we fighting? It feels like it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah.
Why did we want to leave this beach? It's so beautiful. And it was like, I really liked that scene.
Exactly. No, that's one of my favorite scenes from the movie. You keep bringing up just random scenes. I'm like, oh, that's one of my favorites.
Well, you never fully answered the scene question.
I know. Well, I tried, Micah. Like I said, every time I think of a scene, I'm like, oh, I like that scene. And then I think of another scene, I'm like, oh, I like that scene too.
Yeah, it's very flowy. It's hard to think of scenes that are like, that I specifically like. It is easier to think of scenes that I don't like.
I can't honestly think of a scene that I dislike in this movie. To be honest.
You know,
which is kind of crazy to me.
I guess kind of same.
Yeah, I was like, I'm trying to think of a moment in the movie where I'm just like, okay.
For some reason, I have a distaste for the like it just pops into my head when I think of things that I dislike, but I can't really think of why. But I have a distaste for the removing of the tumor scene.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I thought it was kind of fun.
I think it's like
it's a bit of a break in the pacing.
Yeah.
But, like, other than that, I think it was fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just have a distaste for that. I don't know. My least favorite elements of the movie were probably all the other family.
What do you mean? Just like...
Not the daughter, because she usually is included with the kids' stuff. But, like...
Just the...
Dr. Man and his wife.
and the calcium lady.
Calcium lady. Dr. Man and Calcium lady. I really was not that big of a fan of either of their characters.
Yeah, that's honestly, I would cite those two characters as the most, like, underwritten.
Yeah, because, like, Calcium lady, it's
so surface level.
Right? Like, her whole character is, ooh, she cares about looks, and oh no,
and
now she's growing old, and she doesn't look good anymore.
Like, and now she's old and ugly.
And call me crazy, but I thought it was so weird and goofy when, like, I don't understand what was going on with her eyes.
The eyes, that was makeup, dude.
Well, yeah, I know it was makeup, but what the heck happened? Like, that was way crazier than any crying makeup I've seen. It looked like bad makeup for her eyes having been pulled out. Like, that's what it looked like.
Well, I mean, it is dark on the beach. Maybe you're just misseeing it, my goodness.
No, initially, when she first comes slowly creeping out, and Thomasin McKenzie's like, are you okay? And she's like, no, don't look at me.
Is that your Thomasin McKenzie impression? Are you okay?
Hey, she's got a really, like, weird accent and inflection that I very much like, but I cannot reproduce.
She's got such a good accent. She needs to be in more movies.
Right?
I'm convinced.
Right? Last Night in Soho, here we come.
I cannot wait for Last Night in Soho. I cannot wait.
But yeah. Do you have a question? Because that was kind of one question. That's why I said that question would be quite something, because that really is a lot of the meat of my problems with the movie.
Did you find that you appreciated a lot of the setup the second time around?
You know,
I found myself enjoying the beginning of it a lot more the second time.
I thought the setup, I don't know. I feel like that plays into some of the stuff about the movie that I don't like.
Okay.
Just in concept. Because I felt like the setup was very kind of goofy in a lot of ways. And not in a way I particularly enjoyed on a rewatch.
Okay.
Especially with the knowledge of the movie, like that the two 7-year-olds would have a baby in less than 24 hours.
It's a little weird.
Like, it's just very weird to look back at the movie from the beginning.
I can see that.
And, like, just various things like that, and I was, like, just, like, some of the weirdness of the setup. I liked it a lot better on a first watch for the setup stuff.
Okay.
Just with the way it was filmed, I felt like it was a lot more... mysterious. I love how it's kind of almost a first-person perspective filming when they first get to the resort. I really love the filming of all that, and I feel like with the context of the end of the movie, it kind of steals some of the magic of that.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. I'm a big fan for, like, what's his face? The kid at the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
The resort. What is his name, anyway? I wish I could remember. But yeah, I
liked him.
I was a big fan of his performance, like on a rewatch.
No, yeah, I like him. I was like,
oh, that was
cool. The kid did a good job.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. I don't know. It just.
All right.
It feels a lot more sinister on a rewatch, and I like that.
I don't remember how they pronounced it, because I remember it was spelled oddly.
Oh, I don't know. Mike, I haven't seen this in like a couple weeks. I don't remember.
I haven't seen this in like 2 weeks. How could I remember?
I couldn't even remember, like, I couldn't even remember the main characters' names.
It's Alex Wolff and Thomasin McKenzie.
It's Alex Wolff and Thomasin McKenzie. Wow.
And their parent.
But I just have a sucky memory, so.
Yeah. But no, I get that it feels more sinister in the opening, but I don't know, just the stuff with the end really steals a lot of the magic of the whole movie for me. Yeah. And especially with just how ordinary it feels in the end. It feels like it sucks away all of the mystery and magic, and even some of the more sinister feeling of it. Because yeah, I could see it feeling more sinister, but like that whole thing we talked about where I wish they would have cut the ending, that's what I would prefer.
Yeah.
For it being like for a rewatch especially.
No, I get that. One more question, and then I guess we'll talk about the ending. What did you think of the Shyamalan cameo in this one?
You know, Mr. Shyamalan, he makes cameos in all of his movies.
Yes, he does.
He occasionally takes that cameo to a whole character level. And you know, I liked his character in this.
Yeah, me too. I actually kind of liked his performance in this.
I think Shyamalan's just a fun guy. So him being weird, fun beach man worked for me. The beach man.
He's become the beach bum, Micah.
I really enjoyed it.
Well, there you go. I was just curious what you thought of it, because I liked his performance in this, which I wasn't expecting to.
Right. When Shyamalan came on screen, I was like, oh no. I honestly, at the time, forgot that he did cameos in all of his movies.
Oh, really? I was, like, waiting, because one of the reviews from my friends was like, bro, this is, like, the weirdest Shyamalan cameo ever. It
is a weird Shyamalan cameo, though.
And I was like, okay, I'll keep my eyes peeled for him. And then, like, you literally couldn't miss it. He's, like, a main character,
in
almost.
Signs, he has a weirder cameo, though.
Signs is weird, yeah. Well, Signs is just weird as a movie, but the cameo is weird too.
Yeah. So do we want to talk about the ending?
Yeah, we've already spoiled it, essentially.
Okay, so for a tad bit more context.
Context.
At the end of the movie, everybody's dead but the kids, who are like the two kids, main kids, who are in their 50s at this point.
Yes.
And they find a note from said kid from the resort.
Yes.
Which
says the beach makes you whole.
Which says the beach no, it says something about the coral, which I still thought was kind of...
My uncle hates the coral or something like that.
It was something like that, and I was like, I don't get why he would say that. Does he know they're going to die or something? Like, I don't know. It felt very weird for that element. But at any rate, why?
I thought it worked.
But they get off the beach, and then wow, I'm explaining this poorly.
You really are, dude. What are you trying to say here? Are you just trying to explain the end of the movie?
Yeah, I was going to try and explain the end of the movie.
Okay, so everyone's dead except for the two kids. the guy, whoever the guy who looks vaguely like Stanley Tucci says, "Oh, we used to pass notes back and forward. Let me see what the note says." And then it says, "My uncle hates the coral," and he's like, which they had previously set up that they needed some kind of insulation to block the effects of the rocks.
The old rocks.
Yes. So he was like, "Oh my goodness, the coral could be our insulation," and then
doesn't really make sense.
I mean, no, it kind of makes sense in a abstract sort of way, but like they end up escaping.
Well, no, here's this is where I was tripping. I'm explaining. They end up going underwater.
Yes.
For a while, and it kind of implies that they could be dead. And then it goes to Mr. Shyamalan, who's been filming this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then he calls somebody and he takes the data back to this lab. And this lab is kind of the whole big reveal of what's actually going on. And they're using this beach to do studies to try and, like, test medicines for a lifetime in a day, essentially. So, like, that's the big reveal and everything. But then the part of the ending that I don't like is that then, like, they have some other guests arriving, they're welcoming them, and then the two kids show up, and then, like, everybody gets arrested, and, like, it's really weirdly ended.
I feel like everyone I've talked to, which hasn't been that many people, it's mostly people, like, I know and stuff, but most of the people I talked to kind of wish that it was left a bit more ambiguous on whether or not they actually made it off of the beach or not.
Yeah,
like you have a shimmer of hope, you're like, oh, they could have made it, but really the point of the movie is to let you ponder, like, is what was the ethics of all this?
Because,
like, they're doing
using the old beach.
You could argue that they're doing it for very good reasons.
Yeah, didn't they cured epilepsy
exactly
in the movie?
Yeah, and then, like, but also, like, they're essentially torturing these people and killing them,
and also their families.
Yeah, and their families who are not sick.
Yeah, like they're kids who didn't have any physical problems, which I'll say that in a second. It's kind of weird that the kids never develop any physical
ailments.
Wrong
yeah,
with them.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, you mean to tell me, like, none of the kids got, like, arthritis or something?
Not a single one of the kids got, to my knowledge, any physical thing wrong with them, which happens in almost every human being. Something is
usually something
is
goes
gonna
wrong.
happen.
Yeah. That is a bit weird. Yeah, I thought so too. But, like, it's not, like, movie-breaking weird.
But yeah, so they do, like, this really cool, like, scene in the lab where they're all, like, you know, moment of silence for the people who died in this experiment. They go over and they do it in a very prestigious, fun way, in my opinion, introducing all of the lab stuff.
Yeah.
And if they would have just cut it there, I would have been like, whoa!
Yeah, no, that would have been great. I think if they would have literally just cut the movie right there, and then he's like, let's get back to work, and you could even have, like, them welcoming the next guest as, like, a post-credit scene or something.
Yeah, even
that would
then,
be fun.
which I think it would be really, like, really cool if they did, like, hey, we cured epilepsy, and they all are like, yeah, and then he, like, looks at the camera as the camera, like, gets tighter.
Like, you want it to dramatically push in.
Yeah, and then he's like, let's get back to work, and then cut to black.
Oh my gosh, don't clap right in front of the microphone, Micah.
You have to adjust that in post, Robbie, so
yes,
I'm not breaking people's eardrums.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree that would be much better, because it lets you sit with the concept for a while. And it really lets you just, like, think about it.
And come on, tell me that wouldn't make it more sinister on a rewatch. Like, just knowing that they didn't goofily get all arrested at the end.
Yeah, no, I really honestly think that's, like, the most disappointing element of the movie is just, like...
what happened in the movie that you've watched and are about to watch again could be happening to another group. While you're watching the movie is a cool thought for a rewatch. But instead, they weirdly all get arrested, and then the police officer, who none of them seem to be questioning the fact that the beach that makes you old. Like, nobody's questioning it. The policeman...
The beach makes you old.
The policeman on vacation is just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that beach, I guess it makes you old.
Like, he brings a list of people who have gone missing, sure, but, like, the guy himself... If a 50-year-old man runs up to you and says, I'm a 7-year-old you met yesterday, here's a list of people who went missing.
Really, he probably didn't believe him until he double checked, and like all of them were missing persons.
Were missing people.
Yeah,
but still, like, and then there's this line in the helicopter that really I hate. They're flying in this helicopter very close to the old beach for some reason. I thought they were about to fly into it for a second when I was watching the movie. I was like, what are they doing?
What are they doing, you fools?
But then he was like, he had called his aunt or something, and the policeman is like, so how'd she take it? Like, that this is a very normal occurrence or something. And he's like, well, how would you feel if your 7-year-old nephew just called and said he's 50 or something like that? And I was like, what? What's going on? Like, it just really bothers me the way it's all done.
Yeah, it doesn't... The way... I think Shyamalan... I'm just reading into this here. This isn't confirmed or anything necessarily true. I feel like Shyamalan had some kind of need to wrap everything up in a little bow, and it just doesn't lend itself to the viewer themselves properly, like, digesting the movie. They're just like, oh, it's done now. Okay,
yeah,
I guess.
It kind of cuts off of the experience of a concept that's really cool, because it's such a high concept kind of thing, and a goofy way to say high concept about this movie.
It's high concept cinema, Mike.
But because it's such a concept that has so much thought behind it and what you could do, thinking about it morally,
exactly, yeah,
ethically, various things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It, like, you don't feel inclined to think about it at all, because the bad guys get arrested.
Yeah, it seems very, which, I mean, obviously we're still thinking about it, so it's not like it completely destroyed the movie.
I didn't really think about it much afterwards. Like, I didn't contemplate Old Beach much more after the movie ended, because of the ending.
No, see, I did still, but like I said, I could easily... The movie lends itself to not be thought of much, since it wraps itself up so nicely.
Which I feel like Shyamalan kind of has a thing, and it kind of stems back to him writing movies just around twists, where he needs to explain everything.
Which, just we get it, Shyamalan. Just leave us be.
He really wants to explain everything to you.
Which you might get. That's how all of your old writing was.
That's true.
You were just like, here's a cool concept. Let me explain it for 5 chapters.
Hey, I'm better at writing now.
No, you are, but like. That's very much how Shyamalan feels. Like, it's
it feels like a 10-year-old's writing.
No, not exactly like that, but like he feels like, oh yeah, this is such a cool concept. Let me explain it to you.
Yeah. Instead
of just letting us like experience it.
I feel like he's like, here's a really cool concept. Allow me to personally guide you through it. Like, that's, if that makes sense. Like, he very much wants to walk you through. He wants to be there. He wants to explain all the elements. He wants them to be all the tropes that he wants them to be.
Yeah, that's how Glass was, too.
He really wants you to walk through his personal idea for this concept.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. That's really, honestly, the biggest, like, downside to Old, I think, is just the ending kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, just because... You could so easily envision something better for it.
So here's what we do.
In my opinion.
Here's what we do. We pirate the movie. We put it into Final Cut Pro.
This sounds illegal, Mike.
We recut the movie.
Literally, you would just have to chop the scene.
And then we keep that as our own personal copy of it.
We just need to get Shyamalan to hear this, so that for the home release of Old, they change the ending.
Recently Logged does not endorse piracy in any form.
That is true.
But yeah, Mr. Shyamalan.
Mr. Shyman.
No offense to you.
My boy.
Please give us a copy of this movie so we can have our own cut.
Wow. I was just saying, have them change the cut for the home release.
Shyamalan, allow us to make our own cut of the movie. The recently logged cut.
The recently logged cut. Is it an official, like, brand partnership? Like,
yes.
Wow.
And literally all we'll do is cut your ending a little differently.
That's it. We literally changed nothing else. Wow. Well, yeah, those are all the big things I wanted to touch on for this movie. It's got a lot of good elements. It's got some kind of weird elements, some maybe bad elements. But on the whole, it's still my favorite movie of the year so far.
Yeah, it's still,
and I still enjoy it.
I think that's why I said it would be weird to watch it outside of theaters, because it's such an experience kind of feeling movie.
It's an experience.
The score is really good, and the filmmaking is so kind of flowy.
I really
and
like the score for this movie.
That it really gets you into kind of a vibe of that old really is going for. It does a great job of getting you into everything filmmaking wise that's going on.
All right, well, let's get into our closing thoughts. Let's wrap this up.
So what makes you think?
Oh my gosh.
I'm not in love.
This is not the time nor the place for Tyler the Creator.
Hey, I think Tyler the Creator music would go well on the old beach.
Tyler the Creator music would go well on any beach.
Call me if you get lost on the old beach.
Wow. Wow.
That has multiple layers.
That's layers, Mike. Wow. Okay. Well, what did you think of Old, Micah? We're gonna wrap this up. Nice little bow. If you had to,
a little bow of Old.
If you had to wrap up your thoughts on Old.
If I had to wrap my thoughts up on Old, because if you remember, we're aging each segment.
I'm aging in reverse, my kids.
It was one of the most fun movies from this year so far, and that's kind of the thing with Old for me. Is at the end of the day, it's got a couple problems. It's got a couple of instances of character stuff that I don't like, but it's just always a fun movie, and the filmmaking is really beautiful to watch, and it's not too terribly long, and it's just kind of that sort of fun movie that you just kind of turn on when you're in the mood for something a little spooky and a little fun.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite Shyamalan movies so far. It feels like the most, what's the right word, prestigious Shyamalan movie.
What about The Sixth Sense?
I don't know. There's something about the filmmaking of this movie that feels so much more
elegant
for Shyamalan.
I see.
And I really appreciate that. I really enjoy the concept. I really like most of the cast. I love so much of the actual movie itself. And I think that's what really makes this a 4-star movie for me, because there are several things that I very much dislike about it. But like so much of the meat of the movie, so much of not the beginning or end, is just so much fun to watch.
Yawning on the old beach.
On the old beach.
What did I think of Old? Wrap up my thoughts on it. It's definitely my favorite newer age, like new era Shyamalan movie. I really enjoy the camera work in it. The acting can be hit or miss sometimes, but some of the performances are really great, like the mom.
I really like the dad, too.
The dad, yeah, I was about to say both of their performances are great. Mid-sized Sedan is surprisingly great. I was so worried that he was going to be like super like goofy and poorly written, but I really liked his character.
The actor needs to be in more. He's in like nothing.
I really love the way this movie's paced. I have a big admiration for how it's edited as well. I don't know. It's just one of the most technically interesting horror movies I've seen in a while. I really enjoy, like Micah said, the concept of it. Yeah, no, just one of my favorite movie of 2021 so far. Good just stuff.
Fun times, yeah, honestly.
I definitely recommend it to people. It's good.
Yeah.
Make sure you look up the parent guide. It's a PG-13 movie, guys.
Yeah, but it's like a wild PG-13 movie.
Wow.
Pushing the edges of 70s PG. Not really, but
yikes. 70s PG is a pretty wide range.
70s PG, man.
It's a different animal.
Do not watch any 70s PG movie without looking it up. Seriously.
I mean, anymore, man. I don't even watch any movie without looking up the content first.
Yeah, but like...
You don't know anymore.
But like, a warning to parents out there. I don't know if any parents read this, but if your kid... or listen to this. If a kid pulls up and is like, hey, let's watch this movie. It's PG, Mom.
It's PG, Mom.
And especially if it's either 80s or 70s, go to IMDb and go to the parents' But no, seriously, they let anything in 70s movies.
For real though, man.
PG.
What was going on?
But yeah,
Yeah,
that was old.
That was old. M. Night Shyamalan's old. We did it.
Yeah,
There it is.
I rated it 4 stars. Robbie rated it 4 stars. Just as a recap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we'll move on to just a quick little what we watched segment at the end of this. Why not?
I kind of really want to do something particular for it, but I'll ask you about it when we take the segment.
When we're
break.
in the segment.
So, because it's been a while, going all the way back to the 10th of July is the last time we did an episode.
Yikes.
And we're going to go over,
squeaky.
for those of you who don't know, the What We Watched segment typically is a segment where we talk about the other movies we've watched within the week since we did the last episode. It has not been 1 week.
It's not been a week.
It's been over a month.
It's been 5 weeks.
And so we're gonna do like an abridged version where, because there was a lot of really interesting movies I want to talk about briefly.
Yes.
So we're just gonna go over Since the Tomorrow War, all of the first time watches and our ratings, and maybe some quick comments on particular ones.
Just first time watches?
Yeah, just first time watches.
All right.
So I watched Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. Don't have too much to say about it. I gave it 3 stars.
I gave it 5 out of 10, 2.5. Good
Then we
stuff.
watched Hot Rod for the first time.
Yeah.
Which was very fun.
Andy Samberg. This is my first Andy Samberg comedy.
I very much liked it.
It was really good.
Whoa.
What?
What about Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
That's animated. It doesn't count. That's not an Andy Samberg comedy. That's a Lord and Miller comedy by counts.
Fine. But man, fun times.
I honestly would say that this is some of the funniest editing I've seen in a comedy, maybe ever.
It's so good.
I gave it
3.5.
4 out of 5.
Then we watched Zodiac for the first time. First Fincher movie. Baby's
Yes.
first Fincher.
Quoting my review, Mecca.
Yes.
I said baby's first Fincher.
I very much liked Zodiac. It's very up my alley in terms of filmmaking. I wanted to specifically bring it up because, I don't know.
It's great.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would just be like, yeah, it's great. So what? But I really liked the cast. I really loved the direction. The writing's really solid, which is funny coming from who wrote it. And yeah, I gave it 5 stars.
I gave it a 4.5. I thought it was really great. The atmosphere was great.
The atmosphere.
Surprisingly,
I love atmosphere.
surprisingly engaging throughout, given its kind of lengthy runtime. But
Yeah.
still, I can't wait to check out more of David Fincher's movies.
Yeah, I just recently purchased another one.
Purchased.
Then we watched Mummy: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor for the first time, and it was trash.
Yeah.
The worst of the Mummy series,
Oof.
and yeah.
Yeah, not good. I said in my review, a Yeti makes a football joke. What's up with that? Why are they familiar with the iconography of American football?
I give it 2 stars, but that's even a bit generous.
I gave it a 1.5.
And then I watched The Adventures in Babysitting, but not the
Not the
80s
good one. Not the good one.
The 2016 Disney original remake with
Yikes.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter's kind of a strange person.
Not good. 2 stars.
Wow.
Then we watched Twilight for the first time.
Yeah, baby.
Which we could do a whole episode on Twilight, and I think we were actually planning on doing
this
an
would be
episode
a really fun episode. It's a fun movie.
Not a fan.
I liked it.
Just because the writing.
Yeah, honestly,
the filmmaking, very, very fun.
Yeah,
That cast, blowing it out of the water. But the story, I hate the story.
We're gonna have to open the podcast episode about Twilight with Hang On Spider Monkey or something like that.
Mainly just for Edward Cullen. I'll leave it at that. I gave it 2.5 stars. I probably could have given it a 3.
I gave it a 3, yeah.
Because the filmmaking really is good.
I think it's really good, actually. And then just all of the writing elements are just really the biggest problems it has.
Yeah. I watched Freaky Friday, the 2003 one, the one everybody knows, the one with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
3 stars.
I gave it 3. Yeah, I gave it a 3 star.
I watched Black Widow for the first time.
Yeah, you don't have to keep lording it over me, Mike.
Wow, you said you didn't even care.
No, I don't.
I watched it with my girlfriend, which was fun, and it had Florence Pugh in it, which was fun.
Yeah, Florence Pugh's always
3.5 stars for Florence Pugh.
Wow.
Then I watched The Story of Ruth.
Yeah.
Which was it's like a 60s biblical movie.
Well, I mean, it's the story of Ruth.
Not good. Way too long. Very 60s.
The most 60s, aggressively 60s.
Aggressively 60s. I have more for this month.
Wow, you watched a lot without me.
Watched Loki. It was fun. I didn't rate it. I watched The Outcasts. It was bad. 2.5. I watched Murders by Numbers. Really weird. Ryan Gosling was in it. 3 stars.
I really want to see that now.
Get a Clue. Weird. 2 stars. Ice Princess. Surprisingly good. 3.5 stars. A Letter to Momo. Not my cup of tea. Beautiful animation. 3 stars.
Wait, the movie was called Not My Cup of Tea?
No. But yeah, that was my July.
Okay, on the 30th of July, I was on my way back from a trip, which, if you want to know what I was doing, go to my website, and I have a blog post about July, everything I did in July. But I watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit on the way back for the first time, and it was very shocking, I would say. I have no idea how they produce this. How did they make this? How did they even do it? They've got Mickey Mouse in the same movie as like some of the raciest cartoon stuff I've seen in a movie, and there's like a bunch of drinking and language.
Isn't there that one weird? Is it like? It's like Ryan Gosling or Brad Pitt or something, and like
yeah, no, it's Brad Pitt. That's called what is that movie called? I don't know, but it came out after this.
Yeah.
But it just blows my mind that they got like a bunch of licensed cartoon characters in this trashy of a movie. But it was good. I like one of my favorite Robert Zemeckis movies. I gave it a 3.5.
Mr. Zemeckis.
Yeah, Robert Zemeckis, not.
Yeah. Then breaking into August. Watched Princess Protection Program.
For the first time for me.
First time. It was fun.
Oh, you hadn't seen it before?
No.
Oh, okay.
3 stars.
I gave it a 2.5.
Then I watched Autumn Sonata for the first time.
The Autumn Sonata.
Very, very good. Just really fantastic.
I've been trying to get him to watch it for like a few months now. I
expected. It was fantastic.
It was really good.
I said, I think you're pretty angry.
Wow.
I gave it 5 stars.
I love the narrative devices they use in Autumn Sonata. It's so good.
I watched. Oh, these are all rewatches.
Yeah, we rewatched a bunch of stuff.
The next thing I watched, was Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter,
based on the hit Japanese video game by the same name.
I had never heard of it. Dude.
I don't know how. That's awful.
I'm not in the video game scene. Micah.
It's a great series. This was directed by Paul Anderson. But not that Paul Anderson.
Not Paul Thomas Anderson, Paul W.S. Anderson.
And it was very, very, very bad.
Yeah, this is one of the, I would honestly cite it as one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I kind of in a way put this with Cats, just and it's not the same as Cats in the slightest.
It's not the same kind of bad.
I put it in the same thing as Cats as a comparison, just because I do not understand how it got made as a movie.
How did they even make it this
how
bad?
did it happen? What in the world happened? What?
It's literally just an incoherent mess. There's literally no plot.
And apparently the original cut had a racist joke in it that they cut out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, there's nothing redeemable about this.
It's so
movie.
incoherent. The editing is incoherent. The filmmaking, everything is incoherent.
The world building makes no sense at all.
The acting is not good. The direction is not good. Everything is bad.
That's what I'm saying. This is, like I said, I think this is actively one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Yikes.
But at least we got the not good enough, try again.
Not good enough, try again.
That was fun. I gave it a half star.
I also gave it a half star.
Then I watched Magic Camp, but you watched Legally Blonde
I watched
first,
Legally Blonde for the first time, and it was unironically great. I love it. It's like I didn't get the Reese Witherspoon hype until this movie. It's good stuff. Not to mention, I love that the dog is literally just there for no reason. Like, it literally serves no purpose throughout the entire movie.
That's how dogs ought to be in movies, man. Forget having plot relevance. Just be good dogs.
Exactly. It's just the best dog. But yeah, no, I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was really good.
I watched Magic Camp.
Camp.
It was not good. It had Adam Devine.
Adam Devine channeling Jack Black.
I do not like Adam Devine. And the movie wasn't great either.
Wow.
I gave it 2.5.
There you go.
Then I watched Ernest and Celestine.
Yes, indeed.
Very fun.
Another one I've been trying to get you to watch.
Very cute. Very French.
It is very French.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Ernest and Celestine.
It's so much fun. Their dynamic is gold, Micah.
4 stars. I watched Westworld for the first time.
Watched Westworld.
Weird movie. Very Michael Crichton.
It's painfully Michael Crichton.
Not my favorite thing. It didn't really explore the concept at all like I would want.
Yeah.
I gave it 3 stars, though.
I gave it a 3, yeah.
Then I watched The Proposal.
The Proposal.
With Ryan Reynolds, and I think my review sums it up well.
Was it like a business proposal?
I said, yes, actually.
Oh, no.
I said, imagine getting deported to Canada. How embarrassing. I give it 3 stars.
Yikes.
Then what did we watch, Remy?
Then we watched our second ever Scorsese film, The King of Comedy. Our first one was Hugo, in case you were wondering.
Which kind of wasn't good.
Hey, Hugo is actually pretty good.
No, it's not.
It actually is pretty good.
No, it's not.
But it's actually pretty good.
No, it's not.
But anyway, we watched The King of Comedy. Very, very good movie.
Very, very good movie.
Very, very, very good movie.
Very, very, very good movie.
Who would have thought that one of the most acclaimed directors of all time made a good movie?
I want to watch this so bad without ads.
I know.
We had been looking for it for like 3 years, and it never comes on anything, and it's never in any store. And it came onto a free streaming service with ads.
I need a criterion of The King of Comedy.
Dude, why isn't there a criterion of The King of Comedy?
It's so hard to find.
Heck, use that poster right there that's on Letterboxd and just put the little criterion thing on it, and it would be super sick.
Yeah, no, King of Comedy, very good. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Performances outstanding, writing outstanding, direction outstanding.
Ending, oh my gosh, the ending is great.
It's amazing.
Great movie.
I love it. 5 stars.
I gave it a 4.5. I want to see it without ads, though. It might be a 5 on a rewatch.
To Tokyo, or
Yeah, then I watched To Tokyo, which is a aggressively indie art house kind of film.
Very indie. There was a cat.
There was a cat.
There was a cat in Tokyo.
Where a lady goes to Tokyo. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it, I guess.
It's got some cool things.
There's a lot going on here. I don't really think a lot of it works well together, but you know, it was fine, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I gave it 3 stars. I had seen it before.
And then the next thing you watched by yourself.
I got
what?
The Last Samurai.
Yes.
Weird movie.
The Last Samurai.
It was fun. Like, it was good.
Tom Cruise is the Last Samurai.
No, he's not. Ken Watanabe is the Last Samurai.
I love Ken Watanabe.
He's a great actor.
He's a fun actor, yeah.
But no, it was a really fun movie. It left a weird taste in my mouth because there's a lot of really cool elements of the movie. It's a movie with actual color. It takes place in a really unique time in history. It's got a fun cast. Who doesn't like samurai? But it's just really weird. And it's not quite all there on a script level, so I gave it 4 stars.
Well, there you go. I want to see it at some point. And then the next, I guess it was that night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched John Carpenter's The Fog.
With Jamie Lee Curtis.
The one about zombie leper pirates.
Yeah.
that have glowy fog.
And whose gold was stolen by like a priest or something, who then made it into a giant gold cross.
I love this movie, man.
It's so goofy.
It's really goofy. I wish
I wish the screenplay was tight.
Yeah, I wish it literally just had a better screenplay. The characters are just like paper thin, and I wish they would have dedicated more time to the actual like pirate stuff.
Yeah,
being fun.
The dynamics are fun of the characters, and it's a cool idea. But like even the horror stuff isn't there for it being a rated R movie.
I thought the horror stuff was actually pretty great.
I don't know, for it being a rated R John Carpenter.
I just wish there was more of it.
John Carpenter movie. There was hardly any horror in it for me.
Well, the only other John Carpenter film we've seen is The Thing.
Yeah, but he's known for horror movies.
Yeah.
And there's almost zero gore in this movie.
I don't think there is any gore in this movie.
And
I mean, unless you count leprosy.
And that was really kind of, unless you count leprosy, and that was really kind of disappointing to me, because as stupid as it sounds, it is one of the coolest things in The Thing.
That's one of the coolest things in The Thing.
Like the gore and stuff is so well done in The Thing.
The practical effects in The Thing are amazing.
It's so creepy and disturbing, and it's great in The Thing.
Yes.
And it just wasn't really there in The Fog.
No, it wasn't. But I'm a sucker for a good radio station central movie.
Oh, I loved the radio station stuff. Like, yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I'd watch it again. It would be a good like Halloween with your friends movie.
Halloween with exactly. Yeah. That's perfect for this.
You can kind of talk over it and still understand perfectly what's happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good.
And then last night, technically today at like 3 a.m, I watched Taken for the first time.
Taken.
Not a fan. Really not.
Liam Neeson is Taken.
I felt like the whole movie was like weirdly just to justify a very actually paranoid father. Like, he's right about, yes, you shouldn't travel as a 17 and 19-year-old girl alone in a foreign country. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, that is kind of a bad idea.
But like, that doesn't, like, not all of his behavior is good. And then he goes on like this really, really weird, increasingly brutal, like he tortures people to an extreme amount. He shoots some innocent woman in the arm.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he just does more and more brutal things against nameless bad guys when it's not even focusing on how bad the sex traffic is that much. It's just like some weird like justification revenge fantasy movie.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing it. Are you gonna watch Taken 2, Micah?
No. I've seen some action scenes from Taken 2.
Where are they taking him to, Micah?
I'm good. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not a fan of Taken. I gave it 3 stars because the filmmaking is decently solid in the movie.
It's decent.
But I did not give it a like.
Yeah, but that's what we watched. There it is.
It's been a while. That was a lot, and we skipped a lot.
Yeah, there's a bunch of rewatches in there that we totally skipped over. But you can always go look at our diaries if you really want to know.
It's true. I'm Micah or games_things on Letterboxd.
And I am Robbie Grayway.
If you search MICAH, I'm the one with the Ratatouille profile. That's third.
But that's going to change, Micah. This isn't future proof.
Who says I'm ever going to change my profile picture from Ratatouille?
I don't know. Yeah. Anything you want to mention before we leave, Micah?
Hopefully, maybe we'll be back next week on schedule as well. It's very up in the air currently.
Yeah, I don't know.
With how everything's going, I don't know if we will be.
I wanted to mention that I'm hopefully going to be putting out a video essay on my favorite movie, There Will Be Blood, in the coming months. I'm not sure when, but I started production on it, and I'm very much wanting to do it. So.
Oh yeah, go check out my new Luca video on my YouTube channel, M. Grayway Films.
M. Grayway.
My next video is going to be on My Dinner with Andre.
Grayway.
Well, my next main series video, I'm doing like a tiny little video in between that I can edit while we're traveling.
Well, there you go. Man, I'm still yawning. Yikes. But anyway, we'll see you guys next time.
Toodles.
Stay off of the beaches, I guess, so you don't become old.
Like us, because we're trapped on the old beach.
On the old beach, yes. But anyway, goodbye.
Bye.